Hi everybody, sorry I was a little delayed with recording there. Um, Welcome back to my blog and videos. I have a new series and I decided to talk about sugar, and I'm so excited to bring this one to you because I'm a total sugar addict. I love sugar. So before we get started into the meat and potatoes of it all, just some outlying things for this first video. What exactly is sugar? So I looked it up on the freedictionary.com to make sure that I get it worded correctly, and it has 4 definitions to it. So we're going to be focusing only on these 2 particular definitions. So definition 1 states, sugar is a sweet, crystalline, or powdered substance, white when pure, consisting of sucrose obtained mainly from sugarcane and sugar beets, and used in many foods, drinks, and medicines to improve their taste, also called table sugar. And the other definition we're going to use for this blog series is any of a class of water-soluble crystalline carbohydrates, including sucrose and lactose, having a characteristically sweet taste and classified as, forgive my mispronunciation if it happens, classified as monosaccharides, disaccharides, and trisaccharides. I've not actually heard those words before, but we're going to talk about it as a carbohydrate and having sucrose in it. So where do we exactly get sugar? Where does it come from? So according to the website sucrose.com, we get sugar from both sugarcane and sugar beets. I've quoted from their article that sugarcane is a genus of tropical grasses which requires strong sunlight and abundant water for satisfactory growth. And sugar beet is a temperate climate biennial root crop, and it produces sugar during the first year of growth in order to see it over the winter, and then flowers and seeds in the second year. And it's sown in the spring and harvested in the first autumn or early winter. And as for sugarcane, there are many cultivars available to the beet farmer, and the beet stores the sucrose in the root, which is like a fat parsnip. So farmers harvest these crops for sugar, but what they also do is put it through a processing machine that changes the crop. So if you would like to know more details about the man-made process, I will post a link down below and you can see the whole process of how they change that clean food into something different. So the next question that I wanted to address with this first episode is sugar bad for us? I mean, it tastes good, right? It gives us energy, but it's in everything, so it should be fine for us. I went to WebMD, and researchers have found a link between added sugar intake and dyslipidemia, which is higher triglycerides, and lower HDL, or good cholesterol, which is not a good thing. It showed that it tripled the odds of having low HDL cholesterol levels, which those are the good ones, which is a strong risk factor for heart disease. So is sugar bad for us? Based on that, yes. One myth floating around, though, is that sugar causes diabetes, and that's not true. What does cause diabetes is just the fact of being overweight. And because being overweight is very commonly linked to eating lots of junk food, such as sugar-laden foods, that's where that myth comes from. So I wanted to clear that up a little bit. So the next question I wanted to address is, can I replace sugar? One common misconception is that refined sugar can be replaced with more nutritious things, such as honey, maple syrup, or molasses. These are all still simple sugars and are not better for you than the refined sugars. I personally use stevia, which is a pure plant-based sugar. I only use about 1/4 teaspoon, if that, in my oatmeal every morning, along with a teaspoon of almond butter, and that's the only sugar that I use for the day. I don't add sugar to anything else, and I honestly don't miss it. I do eat fruit, which is a different type of sugar, but again, that one's not processed. It's a natural sugar. Truvia, is another plant-based sugar, but I don't use it because for me, I don't care for the taste of it, but I know others that do like Truvia. Splenda and other artificial sweeteners are not plant-based, so I personally don't encourage the use of those ones. Those are also man-made. So the last question I wanted to address was, how do I quit eating sugar? Good news is you don't have to completely go cold turkey to reduce your consumption. You can if you want to. Sugar is a natural want since birth. So if you're a parent, I want you to think back to when you had your children. The doctor and all the books we read stated to start with the vegetables with our children. Remember the baby food and the vegetables? I remember that. And why do they tell us to do that? Because otherwise it may be harder for your kids to like vegetables, and there's tons of sugar in the fruit. And my personal story, I started my daughter with bananas. I totally forgot that. I was very not book based with my daughter, but I used it I used the advice in the books that I read as a Bible to raise her, since I was completely by myself. And I gave her bananas, and my daughter is a sugar fiend. So I know that's only one story, but on the positive side, when we go to Subway, people look at her like are you really a kid? Because she asks for so many vegetables on her sandwich. And that is because as a parent, I have decided to steer that direction away from the sugar, and I've limited her, and she asks to eat candy to this day, and she's 8.5, so it can happen. But scientists aren't sure yet if sugar is truly addictive. There have been some correlations, such as dependence. So for example, even though people understand that they shouldn't have sugar, they continue to eat it, even though they may be overweight. But on the flip side, when you go cold turkey, you don't get the shakes when you go cold turkey with sugar. A drug addict, when they stop using drugs, they get the shakes, which means it's an addictive thing, right? So the jury's still out on that. But I wanted to let everybody know I'll be continuing this series. I'll be talking about my quitting of sugar for the next few days leading up to my wedding. And also I wanted to reach out and let you know that I always have monthly accountability groups going, and I have a sign-up list each month. My next sign-ups will come up here fairly soon. And here in these groups, I can help you stop eating sugar. I can help you prevent heart disease and start your legacy, and get going so that we can prevent disease out there, and we can prevent all those bad things that are happening to people, and encourage the others to do the same thing and live that healthy life, so we don't have to worry about cancers and diseases and things like that. So have a great day, and I will see you next time.